in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, just so real quick, everybody, Bill O'Reilly is still looking out for you. He's still looking out for you. Don't worry. Dunda. Dunda. Boom, 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 boom. This is my fighter pilot winning the Super Bowl, getting elected president fantasy song. With a gold medal or two thrown in and $1 billion. Who doesn't feel like winning when you hear this song? This song is not dedicated to Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Have you seen this guy on Fox News all of the time? Dan Rooney. What do you say, Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney? Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Dan Rooney looks like he's auditioning for Top Gun. He's got his leather jacket on. He made the wings extra big so you could see he's a pilot. He's just wearing medallions, flags all over the place, fighter planes all over the place. He's running for Congress. But they introduce him as Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Now, I don't care what his status is. I don't care if he's retired. I don't care if he's in the reserves. I don't care whatever he's doing. He's not on active duty when he's sitting in that chair on Fox News pretending to be an expert on Iran. I just can't stand it. I can't stand this harnessing of military service for one's political advancement. I just, I don't know what the hell, why it's starting to rub me the wrong way. Possibly because, well, we used to have a lot of people serving in the military in America. 50% of all eligible men served in the military during World War II. And then that number has gone down a lot. We have no draft anymore. You got to register for the draft. Now you don't even have to do that, which the more I looked into the new policy, I'm like, nah. Now we have 0.4% of all eligible men and women joining the military. And a lot of people say, and I've been one of them, oh, that's not a good thing. You got this big disconnect going on, and people don't, I don't know, the military is separated from the country. It feels like you just need more participation. But the military guys, a lot of them, like this Dan Rooney character with his flight jacket and his F-16 planes, and yeah, I'm a veteran. You're also a civilian. You're running for a civilian post. There's a new elitism, the new elite, right? We served in the military, therefore we're better than you. I am getting that. That's what they're putting down, and a lot of people are picking it up. And that's not the way this system is supposed to work. And I've been screwed over too many times. We've been screwed over too many times by people in uniform. Mark Milley, CQ Brown, more recently, Mark Kelly, and John McCain, for that matter. Yeah, John McCain did some great things, but, he becomes like a sacred cow. Oh, how dare you can't say anything. And you know who burst that bubble? President Trump, right? But these things are still intact. These things, oh, you can't say this, that, or the other thing about certain people. I can say anything I want about their ideas and their practices and their habits and whatever. I don't care what the guy did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 days ago. What is he doing right now? And right now, Dan Rooney is sitting there pretending to be a Top Gun pilot in the moment. Maybe he is a Top Gun pilot. I don't care. I know a lot of guys who went to the fighter weapons school. Some went to Miramar. Some even went to Fallon. That's great. Going to fighter weapons school, quite frankly, for me, is not as impressive as it is for, say, a regular voter in Oklahoma where he's running for Congress. That's like somebody, I don't know, who gets sent on a business trip, right, at your office. It's cool, it's nice, but it's whatever. And way too much is being made of it. And a lot of these folks, they've weaponized it. And the podcast bros, we now have a new mainstream media. These podcast brothers and sisters. I like a podcast or two, but it's gotten a little bit crazy. It's gotten totally crazy. Here's Megyn Kelly talking about a couple things. You're going to hear, what do you got here? We got Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly on something. Cut 11 if you don't mind. Cut 11.
Why can't this president or any president say no to Israel? And we have a right to know why. It's not just because we love Israel and it's the only democracy in the Middle East. And if it is, then our leaders are dumber than we thought they were. But it's probably not that.
What led Trump, at 79 years old, to sit in there in that Situation Room when Bibi Netanyahu was seated as an equal?
Yeah.
Trump didn't even sit at the head of the table. Trump sat at the side of the table, and Bibi was across from him as an equal in the American Situation Room.
In the American Situation Room. Well, here's one of the things. I'm going to start with Megyn first. Megyn's reacting to a story she saw in the New York Times, right? The New York Times tells a story, and then the mainstream media write about it and talk about it for the next 3 days. Who remembers when the media system was kind of like that, right? It's not supposed to be like that anymore. It was for most of broadcast history. It started to change maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago. It didn't matter anymore what the New York Times said. And then we found out, wow, the New York Times is wrong all the time about everything. And they lie all the time about everything. So with that in mind, I just don't understand why Megyn would be giving so much credence to something she read in the New York Times. Now, let's say that's true, and I think it is true, actually. As an equal. And they're not equals. You know why President Trump went to the side of the table? So he could see the movie screen better. I've been in the Situation Room. They got these big movie screens. They got little ones on one wall. They got big ones on the other wall. By the way, it's just a conference room. It's not that big a deal. You say, as an equal. Where does President Trump sit at the cabinet table? It's like a very long table, right? Basically a rectangle, but it's a little roundish at the end. He doesn't sit at the end of the table. He sits in the middle of the table, where he was sitting with Bibi Netanyahu, who sits across from President Trump. The vice president, are they equal? No. Just the over the top. And just because the New York Times said something, and yeah, I get it. President Trump talked to the New York Times. Does that validate everything that's in the New York Times? Say, do me a favor. I just sent Justin. I want to hear this thing. As for the other thing that Tucker was talking about, Israel. We say no to Israel all the time. All the time. Actually, here's President Trump blasting Bibi Netanyahu. Where is that? He was very upset with Bibi. It's going on and on and on about how difficult it is to deal with Bibi. He can be high maintenance. These guys have, Menachem Begin. Nobody liked dealing with him. A lot of people had beef with Bibi Netanyahu, with Yitzhak Rabin, and on and on and on. That doesn't mean much. That means people are people. There's going to be conflict. I have to point this out, actually, because, look, they're getting so big right now, Tucker and Megyn. I like both of them. I do. And but their ideas and what they're saying, like it's so, I have to divorce my personal relationship and admiration for them. It's like they're now becoming these cultural phenoms, and they're players. And actually, will there be war? Will there be peace? So it's about their ideas. It's not about them. And I like a lot of their ideas, quite frankly. You got Richard Nixon. This is Richard Nixon on why we like Israel so much. Now, it's a little bit complex. Let's hear what Richard Nixon had to say about all this stuff about 35 years ago. Go ahead.
The fact is that American Jews support Israel, and I understood that. And the fact is that every Jewish prime minister that I have known has enlisted American Jews to bring as much pressure as possible in the political process on American presidents. That's understandable. I don't object to it. Now, a president must not go along with it on occasion, because let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country. In the first place, Jews, understandably in the United States, because of what happened in World War II, because of the Holocaust, are going to put first priority on the survival of Israel. Now, as good Americans as they are,
stop for a second.
They believe.
Unfortunately, that's not true anymore. It's not as true as it used to be. Now, some of this is going to be politically incorrect, what he's doing here. But I think he comes around. Keep going with Richard M. Nixon, arguably one of the best presidents we had when it came to foreign policy. Keep going.
They believe that America's survival and security is directly related to Israel's. In other words, their belief is that being for Israel first means that does not mean you're putting America second, because they think it goes together. An American president, however, has to approach it in a different way, in my opinion. He's got always to think first of what is best for America, and that's true whether it has to do with the Israelis or whether it has to do with the Irish or the Germans or what have you, or the Poles, etc. Usually what is best for America is also best for Israel and vice versa. But on occasions, for example, an American president must make a decision that does not in effect give the Israelis a blank check. And one example of that is a decision that I made. I decided early on in our administration that we were going to seek good relations with Egypt and others of Israel's neighbors. Many of my Israeli friends didn't like that because they wanted a special relationship with Israel and Israel only. But I have always said that Israel's interests are better served to have the United States a friend of Israel's neighbors and potential enemies than to leave a vacuum which the Soviet Union would fill. I still believe that, and I think that should be American policy today.
Okay, just warming up. He's just warming up. Generally, yes. Unfortunately, there has been kind of a hemorrhaging of support for Israel by a lot of American Jews. That's a thing. I don't question. I question the sanity of some people who are willing, whether they're Jewish or non-Jewish, to side with Hamas and to look at October 7th and not believe that an utter and total and disproportionate retaliation was in order. That's how I feel. You have to, if they hit a Taylor Swift concert and took out women and children, what the hell would we be doing to the enemy, right? Now, there's another more detailed, and Richard Nixon starts to talk about how Israel actually, it's not strategically the most important, but there are other reasons at work here. Go ahead. This is Richard Nixon, by the way, with Ted Koppel on Nightline back in the day. Go ahead.
You make the observation in your book, and you say that you have said it many times when you were president of the United States, that no president is ever going to desert Israel, right?
Correct. I put it more bluntly. I said, as I told congressional leaders during the 1973 Yom Kippur War, no American president will let Israel go down the tube. Right. Democrat or Republican. It's not an issue.
I don't know what the hell is up with the groovy music in the background. That was not there when Ted was talking to Richard Nixon. It's a little distracting, but it's still important. Keep going. Please. Can you pick it up? Thank you, sir.
At the same time, that Israel really is not of any enormous strategic value to the United States anymore.
That's correct.
So why then would the United States continue to burden itself with huge loans, in some cases outright grants, to the Israelis, jeopardize possibly young American fighting men when there is no strategic value involved?
Because the United States is concerned by more than strategic values. That's maybe a weakness, but it's the way we are. And there are moral issues involved here. We don't have an alliance with Israel, as you know. They're not an ally of the United States in the technical sense. But we have a bond to Israel that's much stronger. It's a moral commitment. A moral commitment because of what happened during the Holocaust, and a moral commitment because it is a democracy, the only democracy in that area. And under the circumstances, that is why American presidents and the American people in the future will support all out the survival of Israel if it's attacked.
You've always been a very tough, pragmatic man. And I just wonder if you were the president of Israel and you heard Richard Nixon talking that way, or for that matter, heard any sitting American president talk that way, and say, but there's really no strategic value anymore, how much faith would you place in that kind of a moral commitment if push really came to shove?
If I were the president of Israel, I put a great deal of faith in it because of the track record of the United States, and also because he would know that that is the way the American people are. There is no doubt whatever of our commitment to Israel.
Wow. How about that? That kind of puts things in perspective for me. But now we're at a different place, and everyone's running around, and I cannot believe this stuff I'm hearing, the anti-Israeli stuff out there. It's a special ally. They have a special place. We don't always say yes, but usually Israel's interests are our interests. I want to go back to Megyn Kelly with Bibi Netanyahu and what was being told to President Trump by whom, all right, as a matter to go into this war. Bibi was here in February, and Megyn has a talk with him. So she's just taking the New York Times and I think overreacting. Something was written in the New York Times. Even the New York Times hedged a little bit. And even if it's in the New York Times, what do they know? I mean, it's like reality is sometimes a very hard thing to pin down. To be that convinced with what the New York Times said, and your advisors said, well, his advisors said his advisors disagree with President Trump, or his advisors said you shouldn't do this. Okay, so what? Find those advisors. Where are they mentioned in the Constitution? Where is it that he is obligated to follow the advice of advisors? They advise. We have a president who's very unique, who is not a captive of the staff, who's not a George W. Bush. When Dick Cheney said jump, right? When Donald Rumsfeld and all of those guys and those crazy neocons pushed the war in Iraq and Bush went along with it. This is the worst legacy of the Iraq war is the idea that, hey, all foreign war is illegitimate, because it's not true. Sometimes you got to go somewhere and kick ass. The Iraq war was so wrong. Both parties bore responsibility, a lot of it. But one of the bad kind of legacies is, war bad. Therefore, no more, we can't fight anymore. No, sometimes you gotta. And sometimes everybody in the room is wrong except you. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. Greg Kelly. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Uncle Jimmy's dog. He's so mean.
Well, what about Uncle Jimmy?
He was taking care of me, but Uncle Jimmy's dog is so mean.
Aww, Uncle Jimmy. My brother Jimmy, James Kelly, 3 years older than me, visits, and sometimes my daughter's goes to his house, we go to his house, whatever, and that dog is a bit mean. He's got 5 dogs. I forgot which dog was the mean one. He's got a great big Doberman. He's got all kinds of great dogs, and they can be, they'll growl at you every now and then, right? Especially, anyway, she got a little bit nervous, that beautiful child. She's 6, and at least Jimmy's dog, Uncle Jimmy's dog is so mean. But it's just beautiful. I love being a father. I love, quite frankly, I love the worship. They just adore me, and mom, and we adore them. It's a wonderful thing. I do, my gosh, there's so many decisions to make and so many things, and sometimes it's very hard to get through the day, right? Especially the weekends. We got to keep these kids entertained all weekend long. And then the birthday parties. Did we have that many birthday parties growing up? I mean, I had birthday parties. I guess I had I had birthday parties. You know what I don't remember about my birthday parties? I don't remember the adults going. I remember the children getting dropped off. I just have no recollection of a lot of parents at the birthday parties. Now you got to make a whole buffet table, for the parents who are coming over, because it's not like they drop the kid off and come back in an hour and a half. They hang around the whole time. I don't know if and it becomes social. You meet interesting people that way. But seriously, I mean, it's getting, I don't know. It's all lovely. It's all beautiful. It's all a learning experience. And by the time you probably really get good at it, it's time to go to college. That's right. It's time to get a job. It's time to leave the house. I just can't get over that Melania Trump is not a very, very, very popular woman. It makes no sense to me. She's sweet, beautiful. She's always trying to help the children. She doesn't like war. I mean, you heard about her poll numbers. Here's that Harry guy on CNN. Cut 1, if you don't mind. Cut 1.
I would say that the American people really don't care for Melania Trump. Take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at Melania Trump's net favorable ratings. Look at this. The lowest ever. The lowest ever. We're talking about now 12 points underwater. If you go back a little bit more than a year ago, she was 3 points above water. You go back at this point, about this point in term number one for Donald Trump. Look at that. She was 30 points above water. So at this point, historic lows for Melania Trump. These numbers are absolutely awful.
Why would she have numbers that are so low? Michelle Obama's the most popular woman, and Melania, something's wrong. Something's wrong either with the books, or something's wrong with the countries, or something's wrong with those numbers, because she's an amazing woman. And I do look at social media, and yeah, they badmouth her like crazy. It's completely and totally unfair. I mean, that's life now, right? I don't think it was always like this. Everybody is a nasty critic. Everybody says the nastiest things online. I have a whole rationale. I think I do it in a smart way. I don't, but maybe, am I part of the problem? I don't know. But Melania has had enough. And right in the middle of this show yesterday, live television, the First Lady doesn't do this very often, just comes out and makes a statement. No kids, no dogs, no cats, nothing about nutrition. It was about her and what she had to say and what she's been through. Melania Trump, cut 2.
Lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather, I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note.
I think she was saying trivial. She has that accent, which is a beautiful accent, by the way. So here's the thing that people have. And this made news a long time ago. I didn't know about it, but she did write an email to Ghislaine Maxwell in the year 2002. That's 17 years before Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. Okay, 17 years. The big high-profile arrest. It's 6 years before Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty and got in trouble. That's true. Yeah. He was not a criminal. Dear G, how are you? This is she's writing to Ghislaine. Nice story about J.E. in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. And she's getting a hard time for that note. Simple courtesy from 2002. Who was president in 2002? George W. Bush. Huh? How about that one? Let's see here. That's just the nicest thing I've ever seen. It's just a nice note. And she's not done. And she shouldn't be. Cut 3, Melania Trump, live on television.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in a detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe.
Be cautious about what you believe. I think you should with all that AI stuff. Well, good for her. She's allowed to do this, allowed to straighten it out. Now, there's one little thing here that I did not particularly agree with her. Okay? She starts talking about the victims, okay? The survivors, as they call themselves. Melania, yesterday afternoon. The Epstein survivors, this thing has become a total racket. It's a total scam. Cut 5. I don't think she knows this, though, but cut 5.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors.
Okay, the survivors. The survivors. Well, a lot of these survivors were not children. They were adults when they were with Jeffrey Epstein. And if they were assaulted, that's horrible. But that's not the biggest conspiracy in the world, is it? Child sex trafficking, horrible. Violating a woman, horrible. But I do think that there's a severity issue here, right? I mean, we're continually told that this is the darkest, most diabolical sex trafficking ring in the human history. And where are the victims and where are the perpetrators? A game is being played here, folks, and it's a game to get Trump. I want to play a little bit. This is one of the lead survivors. Her name is Lisa Phillips, all right? All over the fake news, and everybody's eating it up. Cut 6.
I started speaking out just because I wanted to stand up for other survivors that have gone through the same pain.
Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion. He could make a model's career. What I didn't realize then was that once he lured someone like me in, he could also destroy my career if I did not do what he wanted me to do.
It's shocked still that there isn't any accountability. The names that I know and many of us know haven't been announced.
So here's the deal with her. She was 21 years old when she met Jeffrey Epstein. She's 21. That's an adult. That's an adult by 3 years. She told a first-person account, very convoluted, didn't make sense story. You know, I'd visit Jeffrey at his mansion. I liked Jeffrey. He was interesting. It was like a mentor relationship. He would mentor me. It was so interesting. He was playful. He was interesting. He would joke and kid. Sometimes I would go there for mentorship, but other times he would sexually assault me. Then I'd go back for more mentorship. I think what she's doing now is going to the microphone for more money. Every single person who testified against Ghislaine Maxwell got a 7-figure settlement from the Epstein estate, and they got that settlement before the trial started, for crying out loud. And they're all anonymous in the courtroom. That's crazy. That's not American. I guess, you know what? I guess a good old witch hunt is kind of American, right? We've been doing that here for a long time, hundreds of years. But I'm a little bit sick of it. I'm a little bit sick of being told what to think, how to think. Oh, that's the worst thing that ever happened. And don't dare question it, or then we'll start wondering about you. That's how the witch trials. Oh, wait, you don't think she's a witch? Maybe you're a witch. Oh, you don't think this is the worst sexual child exploitation scam in the world? Maybe you had a role or have a role, or what the hell are you into? Let's talk about you. This is how they get people to go along with it. And now people are going down, you know, goofballs, to be sure. Larry Summers, some guy from the NFL, you know, who trade emails with Epstein about nonsense. It's a very stupid world right now. Very stupid. I'm a little bit disheartened, quite frankly, by the Melania thing. And I don't believe there's a breakup of MAGA, but there's something going on. And people are trying to figure out a way forward. Me and myself included. All I know is this. I believe and trust President Trump. He has never let me down. He's never let this country down. I got into a bit of it in an argument yesterday. Whatever happened to unconditional surrender? He demanded unconditional surrender. Now we're talking about 10 points. I'm like, please try to understand. Don't just be outraged like everybody else. There's the art of war, the art of the deal, right? These are the same things, the same principles. Other presidents had no idea. They know how to kind of get people to like them for election time. They don't know anything beyond that. This is a man who has thought deeply about these issues for decades. And when he said total and complete and unconditional surrender, and now Iran gets, hey, it's not unconditional. We can get some. We're gonna negotiate. You got to make sure your enemy can save face. You got to make sure your enemy can have some dignity. And if you don't believe Trump and the art of the deal, look it up in Art of the War. Okay, it's all there. We have never had this kind of mastery. It's mastery, and people don't understand it. History will remember, and I think, quite frankly, the voters will figure it out by the midterms. Be right back.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. Anybody between the ages of 18 and 26. Hey, Justin, you are close to 26, relatively. Do you remember
relatively
4 years?
You're 30.
Yeah, 4 years
Within
ago you
4
were
or 5 years.
26. I mean, it's not ancient history that you were in high school.
No, was not.
Do you did you register for the draft?
In high school? No.
No.
What is? Come on.
You didn't register for the draft?
No.
No?
No.
You just didn't do it?
No, we don't have a draft.
You got to register for it, though.
But I didn't. Is that a bad? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's actually a federal crime. I had no idea you were going to say that. You don't remember going to the post office and filling out that card?
Maybe my mom did it for me.
Yeah, my mom. You were 18. You're an adult. Quite frankly, it would be illegal for your mom to do it for you. You got to sign your own name.
I don't remember much about my 18th year on this earth, to be honest with you.
Well, all right. Just all a drug haze.
Yeah, I was too busy running around chasing tail and whatnot.
I hear those days are not exactly, in your past. Do me a favor. I want you. You should have listened to this commercial. All right, it was circulating. They even played it, even when you were in school, even though it was a little dated by that point. This is a Selective Service System ad. Ronald Reagan brought back not the draft, but registering for the draft. You got to register just in case, right? It's just putting your name on a list. You know, if we go to World War III, we're going to call on you. I thought it was a good thing. And now it's an automatic thing. You don't have to go to the post office. You're in luck, all right, or your offspring. Nobody will have. Such a slacker. I swear he didn't register for the draft. Cut 13, please. Cut 13. Hey, Lou, you were old enough to register for the draft. Do you remember this Ronald Reagan thing?
I registered, yes.
Good man. What a good American. Look at that
I was
bozo right next to you. Couldn't be bothered. He laughs at
And
him.
I was dragged and screaming there. No, I'm just kidding.
All you had to do was you went to the post office, right?
I think that's how I did it, yes.
And maybe you saw this helpful reminder commercial with a bunch of very cool dudes breakdancing. Hey, and then we'll go all see Ghostbusters with Bill Murray, right? Where's Ray Parker Jr.? So, I did a little calculation here. In 2014, Justin was 18 years old. 2014. Not exactly, forever ago. And I can't believe you just gaffed it off.
I didn't gaff it off. Nobody I knew was running to the post office to register for the draft. It wasn't like, hey, when are you going to the post office? Are you going Thursday? Because then I'll go with you. We can go after school.
Oh, you had to have safety in numbers. You did a herd mentality.
No, I'm just saying I never got the memo.
I just, wow. You didn't. You don't even know about this stuff.
No, not even an inkling.
Just so perfect. What is he? Generation Z?
I'm sorry, that wasn't what I was consumed on growing up in Chappaqua, New York.
Well, you make it sound like you're from, Mongoose, Wyoming. I mean, what the hell? You're in the suburbs of New York City.
Well,
I was in Garden City. I knew about the Selective Service.
I understand.
You yellow belly, you're chicken.
He's a chicken.
Chicken.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, a lot of guys. So I start promoting the draft online. Like, bring back the draft, and for a number of different reasons. And you can't believe the hate. Me, lovable me. If they come for me, they're going to face my gun. No way in hell. Never. And never in a million years. Like, I think that today's youth is undraftable. That's true. There's just no way to get them to do this. I don't think that could happen. But maybe someday. I don't know. I think we should try. I think it's worth a shot. And if more people serve the military, you wouldn't have idiots like Mark Kelly running around bragging about his time in the military, right? Like, if everybody did it, everybody should do it, it would be kind of less of a big deal. So listen to Mark Kelly yelling and screaming. Well, yelling. He's not yelling, but he's, he won't shut up about it. Great, you're in the Navy. What else is new? Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona. See what I mean? I'm so special. I did all this stuff. So shut up and listen to me. You don't know as much as I do. It doesn't work that way here, and it shouldn't. And too many people have allowed it to get to that point. And now we have this elite class of like ex-military, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, astronauts running around, pumping their chest, thumping it, saying, hey, look at me. Look at all the stuff I did. Oh, President Trump, President Bone Spurs. We don't live in Prussia. We don't have a system where you are supposed to have, be a warrior to be president. It's just, it doesn't work that way. This is a civil society, civilian control. And I've identified something that is negative and it's not changing in the culture. If anything, it's getting bigger and bigger. And some of these guys, I do believe, are being propped up by the deep state, the Central Intelligence Agency. They have decided to identify key influencers, right? Key influencers, and use them to promote not the democratically elected president's agenda, but the permanent government's agenda, the deep state, which is an anti-Trump agenda. Absolutely. Why the hell else? The CIA is buying commercial time on podcasts, the Central Intelligence Agency, to recruit. I haven't heard about a recruitment for the CIA. Well, I did during the Biden administration. They seem to be looking for down on their luck transgender people. Remember that one? What time is this thing going to splash down? A little after 5 o'clock West Coast time. That's a little after 8 o'clock East Coast time. I'm looking at it right now, and it's a little bit foggy out there, but that fog will burn off. That fog will go away, and they'll be able to splash down. I have heard from certain astronauts that possibly the scariest part of the flight isn't the reentry, but it's bobbing around in that thing, bobbing around in the water on the ground. It can really freak them out. If you ever saw the movie Right Stuff, legend has it that Gus Grissom freaked out and pulled the hatch, and and then the water came in, the spacecraft was lost, and everybody was looking at Gus kind of funny. That at least was in the movie. In real life, they actually found his spaceship, and they found the handle intact. He did not blow the handle. Gus Grissom. That was a very not fair portrayal of him in The Right Stuff. Hey, it's a movie. What do you want? They're getting home. I'm a little bit unimpressed by the whole damn thing, to be honest. One lap around the moon. They were like 40 minutes. Hey, we're here. And that's it? What about orbiting the moon? We have the technology to do that. I don't think we trusted the technology. We actually allowed gravity to pull us back. Hey, thank you so much. Is this Ray Parker Jr. in the Ghostbusters soundtrack? Ghostbusters. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?